I'm Libby.
And I'm Maddie.
And we're here to watch Michaela Reeves' speech.
My name's Michaela Reeves, and this is my narrative essay. Has there ever been a time where something so heartbreaking happened to you that your stomach felt like it dropped to your feet? On May 22nd, 2018, that heartbreaking moment happened to me and my family. Life becomes much more fragile when you get the news that someone very close to you may not have much time left. Have you experienced this situation at any point in your life? I have experienced this devastating moment in my life because this is the news I received when I was told that my cousin had a terminal brain disorder called leukodystrophy. Today, I will share my story with you on how my family became closer than ever, received conflicting information from several doctors, and found new ways to cope. The first saga is receiving the news. One day when I came home, my mom had received a call. This call was that my cousin Shay was having seizures and we didn't know why. We never saw this coming and it was just so devastating. My first reaction was to panic, but we had to stay calm because we didn't know how this was going with my aunt. We didn't know how she was contemplating this terrible news. And also during this time, prayer had become a very important strong suit in my family. After she had been diagnosed, this thing became a regular. Even though we weren't used to it, it was just something that we knew to do. As a family, we didn't take things for granted. We knew that my cousin Shay had limitations, so we made an effort to see her. We made an effort to go places and do whatever we could so that we could spend the most time with her, because we didn't know how much time we had. After this, Shay and her family had traveled to Lourdes, Boston, and Philadelphia. They were able to see the country and do more things. How is a family supposed to adjust to something so drastic in such a short amount of time? While my family had become closer, we also came into complications with the doctors. The second saga was receiving conflicting information from the doctors. Shay and her family went to the doctors. Their first instinct was to panic. They wanted a solid answer, but they were given several. My aunt did not know which answer to believe. She was showing signs of leukodystrophy, but also signs of just a virus. So she was taken across the country. She was taken to Lourdes, Boston, and Philadelphia. They needed several answers from different doctors, but there were still no clear answers, and they had no idea where to go next. Because they didn't know why these seizures were happening, they had to live on the fly. They didn't know where they would end up, so everything was just harder. As I pondered over the events that had occurred during the first couple of months, the deeper connection I had developed with my family and receiving conflicting information from the doctors, we had to learn to cope with this information as a family. The last few months in this traumatic time is where my family learned to cope. Things were looking up. Shay was off her seizure medicine. She was able to play. She was able to go to daycare and see more children. My aunt had time to recover and recuperate from everything that had happened over the last 2 years. We learned not to sweat the small stuff. This is something that was terrible, but we now know that the little things don't really matter because this was so much larger than anything else in life. And we also realized that it's easy to forget what's really important in life. Shay's life is much more important than a bad grade you get on your test. As I close, as you can see, we dealt with the news, and as a result, we became closer as a family. We received conflicting information from the doctors, and we learned how to cope with this trauma. Heartbreak is something that comes along with life. We just didn't plan for this specific one. As a family, we experienced what it's like to feel as though someone will be taken from us. This event showed me what it's like to look like when you truly cherish life to all of its entirety.